Again, I appreciate y'all being here. I said this after the game. I want to make sure that, especially y'all's bosses, understand too. I really appreciate the coverage that you all give us. Really appreciate y'all coming on the road with us too, and giving our guys coverage, because we're deserving. I think our kids are deserving. The university's deserving, and I appreciate that. So I want to make sure, and it's important that y'all are here. Proud of our coaches, how they prepared. Proud of our guys, how they competed on Saturday. It needs to be a game we gain confidence from without question and build on. It's really important that we build on this game. It's never okay to lose. I said that after. I said it to the team. I'll say it again to them again today. But we fought hard, and we played really physical football. That's one thing that you get out of this press conference. I want you to understand how physical of football we played. And that's something that we've really been stressing now for 2 years, and it really showed up in a big way on Saturday on a big stage. I thought we put Troy on the national map in college football. Number one trending for most of the day, or for most of the afternoon on Saturday, I should say. I thought our fans that were at Death Valley, they were really vocal, so I appreciate them coming. And then we had a really good turnout of students. And that's one thing I'm probably as proud of as anything over the last 2 years, is our student involvement has been at an all-time high here, and I want to see that continue. And hopefully when we come back home on September 24th, we'll have all the students that showed up on Saturday night and more in the stadium. Hit some quick positives and negatives for you in each phase of the game. Real quickly, we'll start with defense. Negatives, not many of them, to be honest with you. We've got to improve on first down. That's one down that we didn't play as well at on Saturday. It was on first down. And then we've got to do a better job not letting people get behind us. The good thing for us on Saturday is they had some drops and had some overthrows, but they still got behind us, and we've got to do a better job in the secondary limiting those. The positive, I thought, first of all, we had a great game plan. Much credit to Vic and his staff. Those guys, most of you all know this, that they do the defensive game planning. Mine are just opinions, and they do the game planning. I thought they did a tremendous job. Vic and the whole staff really felt good for Vic being able to come back to a place at Clemson that he had so much success as a coordinator, and really prove to that fan base once again how good a football coach he is. We played really physical. We stopped the run. That's 2 weeks in a row that we stopped the run. They had two All-ACC players up front. They had an All-ACC running back, an All-ACC tight end, and we went in there and held them around 3 yards per carry with a Heisman Trophy candidate. Forced turnovers, and we limited them to explosive plays. Really, only big play they had was the Renfro catch on the scramble touchdown there in the first half. Offensively, the negatives are the turnovers. And to be fair, some of those turnovers were forced. They did a good job. Some of them, one of them was a freak play, and you got a tip ball. I think we had 4 tip balls, and they didn't land in our hands. They had one, and it landed in their hands. So that's the way it goes sometimes. Third downs weren't very productive. That's real clear. That's the first thing that sticks out to you when you look at the stat sheet. Again, some of that's because Clemson's really good on defense. Some of it's because we just made some mental mistakes, and I got to do a better job of calling the game on third down. We had some missed opportunities, especially in that first quarter, that we didn't take advantage of. And we had 4 false start penalties. And not to make an excuse for our guys, but it was loud. You all were here. Most of y'all were there, and it was loud. Positives, we had 175 yards rushing. If you look at our total, it's a little bit less. I think we had in the 30s negative, but 2 of those came on bad snaps. One of them was a field goal, poor snap, and that I'd argue shouldn't count as rushing. And the other one came on a botched snap out of the Wildcat. So every time we got in the red zone, we scored points, and we only had 1 sack and 2 hits on the quarterback. And when you drop back and throw the ball as much as we did, now a lot of that credit needs to go to our O-line. It also needs to be credited to Brandon Silvers. I thought he had a really good sense of urgency about getting the ball out of his hands. Special teams-wise, the field goals were negatives. We missed one. Ryan didn't hit it very well, and then we had the bad snap where we had a chance to take the lead there. Our punt snaps and our punt coverage wasn't very good. Ray McLeod is a big-time player. He's the one that ran the punt back and dropped the ball at the goal line. He's a big-time player, but we've got to do a better job on our punt coverage. We'll get exposed again this week if we don't. And then we can't kick the ball out of bounds. Bratcher kicks the ball out of bounds. Positives I thought Ryan punted the ball well, and our snaps were a little bit all over the place, but I thought he punted the ball well, and our punt return unit was much better. I thought Rooker did a great job catching the ball and getting north and south in that. Overall, it's how you want to look at this game. We played the number 2 team in the country, 30-24, had 2 fumble calls that could have gone either way. I thought they were ours. one of them on the goal line for sure that would have been a boomerang there. It would have been 7 for us rather than 7 for them. And I thought when Weatherspoon got a hit on the ball there, thought that was a catch and a fumble. They ruled it an incomplete pass, but can't control those things. But we had some missed opportunities. Lose 30-24. Played above average defensively, probably average on offense and special teams. So it was a missed opportunity. Now, if you would have told me we were gonna have an opportunity to win the game in the fourth quarter going into it, I would have been pleased and would have liked our chances. We got to learn from our mistakes and build on our positives. Got a big challenge this week with Southern Miss. Conference USA runner-ups last year. They're playing with a lot of confidence, beating Kentucky in the season opener. They're 2-0. A lot of returners coming back off that runner-up team last year that went to a bowl. Offensively, familiar with their offensive coordinator, similar styles to what we run. Shannon Dawson there. I'm impressed with the schemes they're doing, especially running the football. They're doing some creative things. This doesn't get talked about, but their offense really starts with their center. He's a dominant player up front. Really impressed with him. As impressed with him as any O-lineman that we've seen so far this season, without question. That includes the Clemson guys. Their quarterback, Nick Mullins from Birmingham, has been a really accurate passer. He won in high school. He's won at Southern Miss. Does a good job managing their team. And then Ito Smith, another Alabama guy at running back, played really well last year. Has followed that up. Had a big game against Kentucky. And then they have a wide receiver, Isaiah Jones, who we had on an official visit here. He's made some big plays for him over the top. So we've got to do a good job of limiting those big plays. Defensively, they're multiple. They're really aggressive. Jay Hobson, their head coach, is a defensive guy. They play with a really a lot of team speed. They got some edge about them defensively, and you see that a lot from defensive-minded head coaches. Special teams-wise, they're aggressive. We got to be ready for fakes. They ran multiple fakes last year. Same special teams coordinator. They've already tried a surprise onside against Kentucky this year. Really good punter and place kicker, and their team speed shows up on special teams as much as it does on defense. Overall, I think this is a great game for us. This is a series that I would like to see continue. They come back here on the flip side, but it's a game that our fans really enjoy. I'm expecting a lot of Troy faithful to turn up in Hattiesburg. And for me, this is a measuring stick to where we're at as a program. Southern Miss is in year 4 of a rebuild. And obviously, they got over the hump in year 3 and got to a conference championship game. They just beat an SEC opponent in year 4. We're in year 2. And coming off a game that we played the number 2 team in the country right down to the wire, and now we're going to go play a team that I think is going to be a really good measuring stick for our program and find out, have we gotten over the hump or do we still have a ways to go? So with that, questions.
How do you gauge the amount of rest that you need for this week since it was such a physical and hot game last week?
Physical, hot, and a lot of plays too. I think we had 78 countable snaps, but 88 snaps overall in the game, and they had around 90 as well, and then about 60 special teams. So a really long game. I think I saw it was the second or third longest game in Clemson history. I don't know. I didn't look at ours. But a lot of plays too, just a lot of snaps of the football. We've got to be smart. We'll be a little bit different today. Today's usually a kind of a glorified walkthrough for us. Where you'll see it, the difference is tomorrow we're going to have to really cut back the volume of work that we usually do on Tuesday. We take pride in really working hard on Tuesday and Wednesday, but we're going to have to reduce our workload on Tuesday and then make Wednesday our really heavy practice day.
How do you limit what they're going to be able to do on offense? They're averaging well over 550 yards a game so far through these first 2 weeks.
I don't mean this as any disrespect, but I think you got to – what they did last week, after the first half, you got to kind of, I've watched that first half of that game. That'll be the most I watched of that football game. They overmatched their opponent in every phase, in every individual battle last week. But they're talented. They played at a really high level last year offensively, and they've got a lot of those weapons back. We got to figure out a way to get pressure on the quarterback, and then we've got the running back. I think everything starts with their offense with Ito Smith at running back.
Coach, you talk about student involvement. Can you talk about what it felt like to come home Saturday night to 400 plus Troy students?
Well, I thought it was huge. I thought the SGA here on campus did a great job organizing that. I appreciate the support. I think that's something that's crucial for us to. I think it's crucial for our guys to be active on campus, to have relationships. We talked about it last week. How do we build our fan base on campus? And I think that's where we got to build it first and foremost. It's about relationship building. It's important for our staff to get on campus and be seen, develop relationships with the students, and it's really important for our players. Within their classes, within the cafeteria, in the student center, wherever it is, to really build relationships. I know something our kids took a lot of pride in, to coming back, and just for me is they took pride in Troy, and we have in the past, and I'll say this, I'm really proud on this campus. I carry a lot of Troy T-shirts around with me, and I've had to give very few out for people having other schools' colors and other schools' shirts on campus right now, and I take a lot of pride in that.
Any upward revision in your mind of the expectations for DeAndre Douglas?
No, he was our best skill player, our best receiver, I should say. He was our best receiver the whole fall camp. Whereas our best receiver, my man Dax, he wants the mic. But he was our best receiver during fall camp. He was our best receiver all spring, our most productive guy. So I'm not surprised at his production at all.
How's the injury front looking?
We came out of that game surprisingly well. We had several cramps. We had to do some IVs during the game, and there's some things we got to evaluate from nutrition, from a rest standpoint, how we're hydrating our players. But after that physical of a football game, we came out of it relatively healthy.
Blaze taken off the field is just one of those that cramped up.
Yeah, I think he started cramping. He's fine.
This rushing attack, I think I saw Jeremy talk about it, 19th right now in the nation. What's it like, having that three-headed monster back there in the backfield?
Yeah, like I said, if we didn't have some of the negative yardage plays last week, that's something we've really worked to limit. But we had a couple bad snaps kind of added to that. I think Jordan Chun, we've known what he can do, and he's came back with an entirely different mentality. Josh Anderson, who was y'all just had a chance to visit with, he played his best football game that he's ever played here. And the reason I say that, I knew that he could run the ball. We haven't used him in that role in the past. We figured out who he was about the last two games last year. He's not a lead blocker. He's a guy that needs to get the carries. He's really good late in the game. He's been that way the last 2 weeks, but he played the most physical game that he can and that he has since he's been here in 3 years or so. So we need him to continue to do that, not only punishing people when he runs it, but also as a blocker, also as a pass protector. And then Fry's a great changeup. We got to continue to be creative on how we get him the ball.
How much of that goes back to the offensive line? Because you talked about this was a young core coming in this year. How much of the credit goes to them?
Well, I think a lot of it. Coach Moore's done a good job. They're our most improved unit on our football team. Now, do we still have a ways to go? Absolutely. But we just played Clemson and we gave up one sack. We gave up one sack and we had 175 yards rushing against Clemson. And so that unit's come a long, long way. Stephen Rousey's been a really good addition. Thought he played well, especially at the point of attack in this game against Clemson. Our two tackles are playing at a high level. Deontay Crumedy is getting better each week. Xavier Fields is one of our most improved players. He needs to continue to get better. He got fatigued in the game on Saturday. We got to continue to get Kirk Kelly, Tristan Crowder, J.L. Gaston. We got to get those guys in the game and be intentional about getting them in the game early.